I dropped 7 shots in just 2 months using this drill right here. It allows you to set the club face in great positions in your swing, it ensures you're staying beautifully on plane like we see the tour players do, and it also allows you to get amazing compression onto that golf ball and turf interaction we see also the pros do every time. So let's take a look into this drill, how this works and how you can apply this into your own golf game, as I really do believe that if you focus on this drill for at least 2 or so months like I did, one of you out there is going to drop 7 or more shots, and that person could be you. Now, during my youth days, I somehow always seemed to have the tendency of going back to old habits where I would start the golf swing by rolling my wrists very much so and opening up the club face, and then as I make my way up to the top of the swing, I'd lift my hands up to try and recover from this and get into a good backswing position. Lots of disconnection here between the arms and the body. Then my hips would fire and then my arms would get trapped behind due to that disconnection, and I'd have to stop the body turn and wrap the hands over last minute to have any chance of keeping the golf ball in play. So to begin with this drill, we're going to break this down into sections, the backswing and the downswing. The backswing first. So to fix this rolling of the wrist here and opening up the club face, what my coach at the time got me doing, this is incredible, he got me getting the club working more this way, setting the club a little bit earlier into the backswing. So it almost felt like that as I was setting the club, my right palm was hinging in a way so it was pointing towards the golf ball. Not towards the ground like we exaggerate in some of my videos, but literally just pointing at the golf ball. And what that allowed the club to do was to set with my wrist in a great position, my lead wrist being nice and flat in relation to the arm, which is going to help keep that club face nice and square. I know from looking at this on the side-on view, it looks like the club's going massively on the outside, but that was the feeling that I needed in order to get things back on plane. I had to set the club a little bit more so on the outside to help me keep the club face, the feeling of keeping the club face a bit more closed, as opposed to opening it up and taking it on the inside. So from this point here, that setting movement, we're getting that palm facing the ball. And what he also told me to ensure was that my arm was staying tucked in and my elbow was facing more towards the body when doing this. So what I would do just to practice this, I'd have a couple of practice rehearsals just using one hand, gripping down the golf club if it's too heavy, and just making that hinge so the palm's facing towards the golf ball. My butt end of the club's almost pointing towards my left hip, my lead hip, and my elbow is continuing to face inwards towards the body. As soon as I'd get a little bit flared out at address, then it's game over. I'd have to do the opposite to try and get some sort of connection in my swing. So it used to be around 2 to 3 practice rehearsals, just one-handed, then taking 2 hands onto the club, setting it into position. And all I'm doing here is I'm not really focusing on the body rotation as much. I'm just focusing on that palm facing towards the ground to set the wrist in the right position to help with the club face, but also keeping my arm very much so tucked inwards. I can almost feel my right arm flexing inwards a little bit more, my elbow still facing towards the body, so staying nice and tucked in. So this setting part was the first part for the takeaway movement. So now bringing this up into the top of the golf swing, I would get very much so, as I mentioned before, disconnected at the top. So the main important part of this bit was to ensure that my body and arms were rotating into the top of the swing at the same time. The worst thing any golfer can have at the top of their swing is for their arms to continue as the body is stopped rotating, because then from there it becomes unpredictable as to what will happen in that downswing. And this is what it was like for me. So setting the club, bringing this into the backswing, all I focused on from there was keeping this angle set and just turning the body. I am not letting my hands go on the inside. I'm not worried about keeping them on the outside at all. I'm just allowing my club to work upwards, keeping both my arms tucked into the body, but I'm rotating more importantly, so my back faces towards the target. So it's a very simple move. Once you get this club set in this position here, the rest of the backswing becomes very easy to do. You're just thinking club works almost upwards, keeping them tucked in, of course, as the body rotates round. And that got me into a nice, short, more compact, reliable backswing position, just like we see those tour pros do. We don't see any of them with these long backswings getting very disconnected. We always see the most consistent players keeping their arms and body working together. Now, if you're enjoying this content so far, then why not click that subscribe button, as it's completely free to do and it helps me produce more content just like this one for you every single week. So applying this now into the downswing, we've done the takeaway backswing. Once we got to the top of the backswing, my tendency, as mentioned earlier, was that I'd fire my hips too early and get my arms a little bit too trapped, and then I'd have to fight it with the hands. So what I had to ensure was that I was allowing my arms from this very much so connected backswing that I managed to get myself in from the drill to then bring it back down into that set position from stage one, the takeaway. So how the drill worked was going set, palm to ground of course, rotating up to the top and then bringing it back down like so. I wasn't forcing my body to rotate to start the downswing because I had that anyway. My focus was just to ensure that I was giving myself time to bring the club and hands back out in front of the body. So then it was much easier to keep the room required to just rotate and execute through the ball. So we're recreating this angle from that takeaway move. So that set position that we have it to begin with, rotating up to the top, back down to that position, and then from there to make a full swing doing this, I would just rehearse this in stages, going set, rotate, reset, and then hit from there. And I would just hit shots after shot. In fact, I hit hundreds of shots practicing that drill. And it felt like already I could really get myself turning more through the golf ball, getting my weight shifting forward as opposed to staying back from firing those hips too early, and the compression on the golf shots was so much better. It just felt effortless and dead easy for me to do once I got used to the fact that I was setting, rotating up, resetting, and then recoiling to hit the golf ball. But the tricky question for me was, how would I take this to the golf course, and how could you take this drill to the golf course as well? Well, to begin with, you can download my course management guide, brand new ebook that's designed to give you everything you need to manage your way around a golf course. I'll leave a link in a comment down below. But the second one was to learn how to apply this into a golf swing, a normal golf swing without those stages taking place. So beginning with the backswing then, how can we get this set and rotation all in one motion? To begin with, I'd focus on taking the club back in between that stage very slowly, but picture that stage somewhere around here as a millisecond, just to help you set those two positions perfectly again. So I'm going very slow here and I'm picturing that pause there, and then I'm making my way up to the top of the swing. I'm going to do that a couple of times, and I want you to work this into a slightly quicker motion with the golf club. After you've done a few doing that, what you can begin to do then is picture that pause there as just the next pass of the golf swing. Rather than pausing there, just allow the club to continue on that motion and then begin that body turn. So set, rotate, up to the top of the swing. Set, rotate, up to the top of the swing. Now the downswing's a little bit trickier because for people like me who struggle with firing their hips, shifting their hips and leaning back too much, it's very tricky to calm that down when you're going and applying this at more speed. So what I decided to do instead was almost feel like I wasn't turning my body on the way through at all. The body will rotate when you start hitting golf shots doing this, but from the top of the swing, what I would focus on was, okay, well, I want to be there, back into that slot. Okay, let's try and get into that slot without turning anything and finishing off in this set point here. If I was to finish off with the club just like this here, rather than wrapping those hands over, I knew I was doing this drill correctly on the way through. I knew I was doing that setting move here correctly as well, because from there it's just a continued motion through to this point. So to begin with all-in-one motion swings, I would go 1, 2, 3, just like that one there, and just hold that position. And I could bring my hands down. I figured out I could bring my hands down as fast as I wanted, as long as I brought them back down in that set position, with my right wrist in that position there, the right palm facing towards the golf ball, and keeping that club working ever so slightly more in front of my hands. That made it easier to rotate and execute the shot. But there's a training aid that I wish I knew I came across in my youth that I've only just come across recently that's helped a lot of my students improve their games and also my game in particular. And this is called the Precision Impact Training Aid. It goes onto your right wrist like this here, and what it allows you to do is it allows you to hear the clicking motions on the backswing and it forces you to keep that setting throughout the entire swing. Now, don't get me wrong, you can do this drill a couple more times and see if you can build this up into a controlled finish position, but it is very easy for the wrist angles to go at higher speeds. So this training aid just makes it much easier just to help you keep that angle throughout the golf swing. So listen to this. Stage 1, rotate to the backswing, back down into that position. Very easy for me to hold it. I have to hold it using this, and then from there, I can just rotate through. And although that didn't pick up because I started from that point here rather than next to the golf ball, that really forced me then just to keep my hands working on this motion through the golf swing. And there you go, that was really, really nice. As soon as I set the club here and worked my way up to the top, I knew that as long as I brought the club back down to that point, I could just get forward enough and rotate enough just to make it was just easy. It was just very, very easy. I lost my train of thought there trying to talk, but I just remember that drill, how easy it felt from that position to then rotate and execute through. And I really do wish that I knew about this product back in my youth, like I mentioned before, because that would have made things so much easier, and I could have dropped those 7 shots in just a month rather than 2 months. Again, you don't need this device to be able to use this drill, but it does make it a lot easier to help you get those positions quicker and apply them into your golf swing. So if you'd like to check out a link with a discount code for that, I will place one in the description below for Pure Swing products, Precision Impact, $20 off your order. And again, really, really nice. Little draw on that one, just let the wrist go at the end there. But if you have come this far and haven't yet subscribed, why not click that subscribe button, as there is lots more content like this coming your way, especially if you take these tips and drills on board and you drop a couple or more so shots. This video has been brought to you by GX Golf, who provide high quality golf clubs at a fraction of the price in comparison to their competitors on the market. Using my discount code Harry10, you can save yourself 10% off their bundle packages of 3, 6, or 9 golf gloves. And that leads me to say, why not check out this video over here for more content just like this one. We've spoken about setting the club, a great drill you can use to help you drop a load of shots. But if you're looking for more videos on how to control what that club face does, I'd highly recommend checking out this video over here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in that one.